Hello, my name is Azeem, or Caffeine and Misery, and today I'm going to be talking about one of the decks that got some of the coolest upgrades, in my opinion, from the brand new, as of recording, Knights of Rebirth, Divines Set 8. That being Argo Sirens. Now, Argo Sirens are a Stochastic deck that revolve around set orders similar to the way that Brengate decks do. But without keeping you waiting too long, I'm going to go over my new list, my new upgrades, and do a brief discussion. So I'm on the intended ride line that when they ride up from their previous one, as long as you go over correctly, they both have the same skill to reveal a grade 3 Argo Siren in the ride deck to search out a tiding. Other than that, both have rearguard skills. The grade 1, when the unit in the same column restands, as long as you have an Argo Siren Vanguard for a single Soul Blast, you can restand her too. And the grade 2 gains boost. But of course, we have the grade 3 Vanguard Argo Siren Calliopeia, who has the passive ability, the continuous skill that when you have a bound tiding, she gains 5k, but if you have 2 bound tidings, the front row gains 5k instead. So, just a passive 5k buff to everything. Pretty nice, simple. She also has an axe skill, so that once per turn you can discard a card from hand to play a tiding from drop. So you get to play 2 tidings per turn, one the normal way and one by discarding for this skill. And when she attacks a Vanguard for a counterblast, you can bind a tiding in the order zone. And then if the opponent is on a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, you can actually bind a second tiding. So you get to activate the skills of both. But what happens when you bind the tidings? Well, let's go ahead and go directly to those before we hit the units. First off, I'm on 4 copies of Kainos Orcos, the grade 3 tiding, which can be played with a Soul Blast. Once put into the order zone, you get to search your deck for a Tear Dragon and just call it outright, so you just have myriad of targets you can just get for free. And the main skill we're going to worry about here, though, is the ability that happens when it's bound. As long as it's bound by the skill of an Argo Siren from the order zone, if the opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gives your Vanguard the skill that as long as it hasn't restood by an ability that turn, it can restand with drive -1. Or more specifically, drive set to 1. Unfortunately, you're not abusing Gather Upon Me, Ye Wandering Souls in this list. Nor are you abusing it too much either at some point when English gets those erratas. But that's neither here nor there. The other tiding we have is the grade 1 Catharos Ode, which can be played with a Soul Blast normally too. And when it's put into the order zone, you can check the top 7, reveal one of the cards in those 7, add its hand of a tiding, and call it if it's an Argo Siren. Then you just shuffle your deck. It does have to be grade equal to or less than your Vanguard. And when it's bound, you can pick one of your rear guards and restand it. Nice, simple, straightforward. Going into our grade 3s, obviously, I've got 3 Persona rides. Along with that, I'm on 4 copies of Stunning Wave Dragon, which has the on-place ability to, as long as it's placed from hand or deck, so not called from drop. It gets 5k if you have an Argo Siren Vanguard, and for either Counterblast 1 or Energy Blast 3 Gun Cycler costs, you can draw a card. And when it attacks on a once per turn skill, you can have it gain 5k for the turn, and if you do, at the end of the turn, it's retired. Other than that, I'm on a singular copy of Inlet Pulse Dragon. The skill we're going to worry about is the second auto ability that at the end of the turn, as long as you attacked at least 4 times, it can go to Soldier, draw a card. Inlet Pulse has admittedly fallen off, but I do like the one of for like hands where the only card I have is Kainos Orcos, and I need to be building up something more during the end of the turn, try and guard myself more. And to round out our tier dragons, into the only grade 2 I'm running main deck, we have Tideline Dragon, who has the act ability that if you Persona Road for a single Soul Blast, you can give another unit and itself 10k on a once per turn. So it just buffs itself, you can choose a Vanguard, you can choose another, your main thing you're going to be restanding. World's your oyster. But now we get to some of the meat of the deck, the grade ones. And to start with, I am on 4 copies of Argo Siren Senel, who, when placed on rear, as long as you have an Argo Siren Vanguard, for a single counterblast, you get to check the top 5 cards. Or you get to search your deck for a tiding and add to hand. So it's just a way to get your missing tidings, anything you need to continue your turn. And as long as the opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and a tiding was put into the orders on that turn, she gets 5k. I'm also on 2 copies of the brand new Argo Siren and Vyashul, who, if you have a grade 3 or greater Argo Siren, and she gets the ability that she can intercept from the back row, and if the Bind Zone has a tiding, she gets an additional 5k guard. So I was main decking 2 of the grade 2 ride line. I replaced her for 2 of her because of being a 10k intercept from the back row. However, I am still on 2 copies of the right deck grade 2, which again restands if the unit in the same column restands for a single Soul Blast. And lastly, we have the new double rare for the deck, Argo Siren Cephas, who, when your Tear Dragon or Mermaid restands, if you have a grade 3 or greater Argo Siren Vanguard, you can put her to the bottom of the deck to draw a card, choose one of your units, and give it 5k. This replaced one of the commons from the last set that at the end of the battle it boosted a Tear Dragon. It would go to Soul to give something 5k. I just hard swapped them out because I feel like the extra draw is very worth it, and I didn't see other places to make space. Lastly, I'm on 4 copies of Water Spout Gym as my perfect card. For my trigger lineup, I am on 7 criticals. I'm also on the 4 Soul Fronts. The reason I'm on Soul Fronts is because the tidings to hard play are Soul Blast. The restand is a Soul Blast. Timeline is a Soul Blast. You have a lot of Soul Blasting in this deck. I want the Soul crits to build up Soul again. I got 4 regular heals. And lastly, for my over trigger, I'm on Source Dragon Deity of Blessings, Bless Favor, the Stoicheia OT, that when drove check, does all 4 regular trigger abilities, draws you a card, gives the unit a critical, gives the front row 10k, and heals you if you are in the heal threshold, on top of drawing an additional card and giving something 100 million. But now, we get into the fun part, the discussion. What do I think of this deck? I think it's really fun. I think the 2 new cards give it a lot of really nice support. You get a new defensive option with Vyashul, and you get better hand advantage with Defis. You're never really lacking on hand advantage because of the amount of draw on the deck, the amount of searching, and you get to compress your deck really nicely, really quickly. I do think, though, one of the biggest issues this deck has is Counterblast. You are going to pretty often be running out of Counterblast. And that can be kind of stopped if you were to pick who runs, say, Prize Trident. But that's only going to be working if your opponent's on grade 3, so either going second or Persona rank turn onward. If they just decide to damage deny you, you're not getting the chance to even proc it, because you will need the 1 counterblast to hit 5 attacks. I think that's the biggest thing with this deck right now. It doesn't really have a way in archetype to regain resources like counterblast and soul. I would love to be running the additional guard fronts instead, but I really do just need to be able to build up soul again, because so much of this deck uses soul. Timeline can be swapped out for different tier dragon, but I feel like the power increase it gives your other tier dragons or your Vanguard is too important to pass up, because the additional power, the additional power it has is just too good. And it's completely searchable. I feel like one of the biggest weaknesses in this deck is also Inlet Pulse, honestly. It goes to Soul to draw you a card. It's completely searchable. You only run the one as an extra draw if you need it. You don't need to be running it. You could cut it for, say, the third vehicle if you don't want to spend the money on it. But these are my thoughts on the deck. Overall, I think it's pretty good. It's not the best of the best, but it's cohesive, it's functional. It has a big counterblast issue and a big soul blast issue. But aside from that, very good deck. I love playing it. It's very fun. And if y'all like this video, y'all like my list, go ahead, do all the normal YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will see y'all next time. Ciao.